Gamera's too big for one video, so here's part 2 with the conclusion of Mystery Science Theater Volume 21, aka MST3K versus Gamera. We are going to be looking at Gamera versus Guiron and Gamera versus Zigra, and have the overall score for the entire collection. Let's go! Now we have Gamera versus Guiron. I think that's how you pronounce his name. But first, we have the invention exchange. Joe shows us the collapsible garbage can, but the collapsible porta potty stinks. Dr. F and TV's Frank get turned on by sexy Rorschach centerfolds. Therapy sessions have never been so fun. On to the movie. Gamera vs. Guiron, I'll call him Guiron, it's easier, starts off quite differently than the previous movies. Instead of starting with the never-ending waves, it starts in a techno-colored psychedelic dream sequence to set up the table for the goofiness that will ensue. After all, it is 1969 when this movie comes out. This movie focuses on 3 children looking into space with a telescope. 2 boys and a little girl spy on a flying saucer with the telescope. The flying saucer lands in a nearby field where the 3 badly dubbed creepy kids go to explore it. The little girl smartly stays back as her brother and his friend poke inside the flying saucer and accidentally set it off into space. Inevitably, the spaceship lands on a distant alien planet just behind Pluto called Terra. The 2 women on this planet transform their Alvin and the Chipmunk voices into English so the Japanese boys can understand. Actually, so the American viewers can understand them. The 2 women only want to eat Tommy and Akio's brains, but they would starve if they tried. The 2 Terran alien women have a guard creature with a knife blade for a head called Guiron. Gamera comes to Terra, not Scarlett O'Hara's plantation, to attempt to rescue the children and bring them home to Earth, but his plans are thwarted by Daddy Mac the Knife Master Guiron. Guiron badly wounds Gamera's shell and makes him bleed blue blood. I knew Gamera was a blue blood, while throwing stars come out of his nose hose. These movies just keep on getting weirder, and I love it. Gamera once again winds up at the bottom of a body of water on his back because he has to do that at least once every movie. Meanwhile, the 2 boys, Tommy and Akio, try to thwart off the evil women and their desires to munch on their minds. They want a breakfast of brain flakes from the boys, but the boys manage to avoid them. At one point, Gamera comes back and tries to rescue the boys as the Terran women try to escape. Their pet culinary-headed dog Guiron chops their spaceship in half, I guess because he thought it was a frisbee to play with. One of the women is badly wounded while her partner in crime evaporates her with a laser gun because the wounded is worthless and must be killed on Terran. Man, this planet sucks. Gamera battles Guiron while trying to avoid his blade, and one of the goofiest, most iconic scenes in MST3K history happens here.
This is rich.
Yeah, that's Kathy Rigby in that suit.
I think so.
In the end, Gamera shoves Guiron's bladed end into the dirt, rendering him helpless as he kills him off. Gamera takes the 2 boys in the spaceship he repairs back to Earth to their families. Besides having 3 badly dubbed Japanese kids, this movie also hosts a badly dubbed goofy police officer and friend of the kids named Officer Corn Chips or Cornrows or Corn Job or something. Also, there are fun nods to previous Gamera films like the original Gamera and Gamera vs. Gaios. Gaios himself appears only to be Martin Yin by Guiron's blade in an extended cameo.
Quick while you're ahead. Oh, I'm sorry.
This episode also boasts a really fun Gamera song sung by Joe and the Bots, as well as Mike J. Nelson playing as Michael Feinstein.
Gamera is really neat. Gamera is filled with meat. We all love you, Gamera.
For the overall goofy fun of the riffs and this flick, which is goofy fun on its own, and for the fact that Tokyo is spared from destruction for once, this one gets a 5 out of 5 SOL shells. And finally, we have Gamera versus Zigra. The Invention Exchange shows the Mad's Three Stooges gun for offense, Mo, and defense, everyone else. Joe gives us Crow Tea Shish Kebab and Tom Servo Root Beer Kegger, just in time for the Super Puppy or Bowl of Your Choice party. Now, on to the movie. Gamera vs. Zigra came out in 1971 and shows yet another Kenny and his dad seeing a small spaceship descending into the ocean depth. Later they are joined with the coke-loving Helen, and that'd be coke as in drink, not drug, and her dad. The group is teleported into the spaceship. In the spaceship, a woman tells them she is from an alien race called Zigra. The spaceship looks like a psychedelic, everlasting gobstopper room in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. It also looks like they have decorated for Halloween with fake spider webs on the walls and ceiling, and a paper-mache-looking creature on the ceiling that is supposed to be their leader, Zigra. The woman shows them their ability to cause destructive earthquakes, and they use this power because she is apparently hangry and everyone must suffer. The woman also has the ability to put others in a trance with her eyes. She puts Kenny and Helen's dad in a trance and run after the kids at the demands of Zigron the Shark Overlord, who wants them dead because he really hates kids, I guess. It turns out all he wants the adults for is food, but the kids are too small to eat, so I guess throw them back or just kill them for sport. Did I mention that Zigra has the ability to talk and is the first Gamera villain to do so? I didn't? Well, remind me to later. Gamera tries to attack the underwater spaceship, but Zigra grows larger and immobilizes him with one of its rays. Gamera, you guessed it, sinks to the bottom of the sea. The lady who was under Zigra's spell snaps out of it, and a bunch of other crap happens, and Gamera eventually comes back after an electric storm revives him. Gamera slams Zigra at high speed into the beach, and in a very comical finishing move throws a boulder that sticks onto Zigra's nose, knocking him off balance. Then comes a scene that can rival the Gamera the Gymnast scene from the previous movie in terms of goofiness.
Oh, please say this is not happening.
Gamera, known as Bags to his friend.
Gamera then roasts Zigra to Cajun black perfection, and little Helen at last gets her Coke, which looks more like an Orange Crush to me, but she doesn't seem to notice, so I'll just shut up. In this episode, we also get Mike J. Nelson playing Kenny and his wife Bridget Nelson as Helen. We also get more versions of the Gamera theme from Joe and the Bots and the Mads.
Oh, bro, the Gamera is really neat. Gamera is full of meat.
Gamera, Gamera. You're a nickel, baby, you're full of meat, Bobby, do you don't bow. You about as neat as a cheap seat in the midnight peep show where all the old men are.
And he fights for good. He's got to be about the biggest turtle in the hood. I said Gamera. He's really neat. The Gamera.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Bravo.
So, Milli Vanilli. 1, 2, 3, 4.
This very weird movie is perhaps the cheapest looking Gamera film of the bunch, and the vehicles at the beginning of the film and the buildings are blatantly and obviously toy models more so than usual. Also, the movie had a very weird panning fetish, as the panning is painfully bad. The villain is very goofy looking, even for early Gamera standards, and this movie is an all-over-the-place mess, which makes for some really fun risks for a 3 out of 5 SOL shells. Gamera vs. MST3K, aka Mystery Science Theater Volume 21, gets an overall score of 20 out of 25 SOL shells. Well, that about does it for me. Thank you very much for watching, and please like, sub, and share. I've been Preston E. Garrison, and no joke, I think you all rock. Now enjoy a Coke.
I want a Coke.
Can I have a Coke?
You called it. So predictable.
Right away.